The killing fields are sites in Cambodia where collectively more than 1.3 million people were killed and buried by the Communist Party of Kampuchea during Khmer Rouge rule from 1975 to 1979, immediately after the end of the Cambodian Civil War, 1970-75. The mass killings were part of the broad, state-sponsored Cambodian genocide. The Cambodian journalist Dith Pran coined the term killing fields after his escape from the regime. The Khmer Rouge regime arrested and eventually executed almost everyone suspected of connections with the former government or foreign governments, as well as professionals and intellectuals. Ethnic Vietnamese, Thai, Chinese, Cham alongside Cambodian Christians and Buddhist monks were the demographic targets of persecution. As a result, Pol Pot has been described as a genocidal tyrant. Sociologist Martin Shaw described the Cambodian genocide as the purest genocide of the Cold War era. In 1979, Vietnam invaded democratic Kampuchea and toppled the Khmer Rouge regime, ending the genocide. After 5 years of researching 20,000 grave sites, analysis indicates at least 1,386,734 victims of execution. Estimates of total deaths resulting from Khmer Rouge policies, including from disease and starvation, range from 1.7 to 2.2 million out of a 1975 population of roughly 8 million. Even the Khmer Rouge acknowledged 2 million had been killed, though they attributed those deaths to the subsequent Vietnamese invasion. By late 1979, UN and Red Cross officials were warning that another 2.2 million Cambodians faced death by starvation due to the near destruction of Cambodian society under the regime of ousted Prime Minister Pol Pot, who were saved by international aid after the Vietnamese invasion. The judicial process of the Khmer Rouge regime for minor or political crimes began with a warning from the Angkar, the government of Cambodia under the regime. People receiving more than 2 warnings were sent for re-education, which meant near certain death. People were often encouraged to confess to Angkar their pre-revolutionary lifestyles and crimes, which usually included some kind of free market activity, having had contact with a foreign source such as a U.S. missionary, international relief or government agency, or contact with any foreigner or with the outside world at all, being told that Angkar would forgive them and wipe the slate clean. They were then taken away to a place such as Tuol Sleng or Chung Ek for torture or execution. The executed were buried in mass graves. In order to save ammunition, the executions were often carried out using poison or improvised weapons such as sharpened bamboo sticks, hammers, machetes, and axes. Inside the Buddhist memorial stupa at Chung Ik, there is evidence of bayonets, knives, wooden clubs, hoes for farming, and curved scythes being used to kill victims, with images of skulls damaged by these implements as evidence. In some cases, the children and infants of adult victims were killed by having their heads bashed against the trunks of chankiri trees, and then were thrown into the pits alongside their parents. The rationale was to stop them growing up and taking revenge for their parents' deaths. In 1997, the Cambodian government asked for the UN's assistance in setting up a genocide tribunal. It took 9 years to agree to the shape and structure of the court, a hybrid of Cambodian and international laws, before the judges were sworn in 2006. The investigating judges were presented with the names of 5 possible suspects by the prosecution on the 18th of July 2007. On the 19th of September 2007, Nuon Che, second in command of the Khmer Rouge and its most senior surviving member, was charged with war crimes and crimes against humanity. He faced Cambodian and foreign judges at the Special Genocide Tribunal and was convicted on the 7th of August 2014 and received a life sentence. On the 26th of July 2010, Kongkek Yu, aka Comrade Rouge, director of the S-21 prison camp, was convicted of crimes against humanity and sentenced to 35 years imprisonment. His sentence was reduced to 19 years, as he had already spent 11 years in prison. On the 2nd of February 2012, his sentence was extended to life imprisonment by the extraordinary chambers in the courts of Cambodia. He died on the 2nd of September 2020. After 5 years of researching 20,000 grave sites, analysis indicates at least 1,386,734 victims of execution. Estimates of total deaths resulting from Khmer Rouge policies, including from disease and starvation, range from 1.7 to 2.2 million, out of a 1975 population of roughly 8 million. Ben Kiernan estimates about 1.7 million people were killed. Craig Etchison of the Documentation Center of Cambodia suggests 2.2 million. Demographic analysis by Patrick Huviline suggests between 1.2 and 3.4 million were killed, while Marek Slawinski suggests 1.8 million is a conservative figure. Even the Khmer Rouge acknowledged 2 million had been killed, though they attributed those deaths to the subsequent Vietnamese invasion. The best-known monument of the killing fields is at the village of Chuang Ek. Today, it is the site of a Buddhist memorial to the victims, and Tuol Sleng has a museum commemorating the genocide. The memorial park at Chuang Ek has been built around the mass graves of many thousands of victims, most of whom were executed after interrogation at the S-21 prison in Phnom Penh. The majority of those buried at Chuang Ek were Khmer Rouge killed during the purges within the regime. Many dozens of mass graves are visible above ground, many which have not been excavated yet. Commonly, bones and clothing surface after heavy rainfalls due to the large number of bodies still buried in shallow mass graves. It is not uncommon to run across the bones or teeth of the victims scattered on the surface as one tours the memorial park. If these are found, visitors are asked to notify a memorial park officer or guide. A survivor of the genocide, Dara Duong, founded the Killing Fields Museum in Seattle, U.S. in May 2004.